What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Hello again, friends. Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. Back for another preview edition. I'm stumbling already. Another preview edition of the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We've got 6 games we're going to talk about, both in college and the NFL, and then give, of course, our top 5s. Are you ready, Papa Dude?
I'm ready to go. And look, we both got hoodies on. Fall is in the air.
You know, it was cold this morning. Did you go for your morning walk this morning?
I did, and it's been pretty chilly the last 2 mornings, but by the time I had some sweats on. By the time I got home, I was kind of hot. This morning I went with shorts, and that first 10 minutes was brisk, I'll tell you for sure.
Yeah, the dog wanted out at 7 o'clock this morning, and I went out there. It was cold. It was like 45, I think. So, yeah, it was terrible. And listen, Magic, hey, you made fun of LA. Magic says it's 95 degrees here, and it's 10 a.m.
I think I'll take this over the 95.
I don't know about 95 degrees. This is a sports show, but I did want to mention this because it happened right at the end of Ricky's Rockets. Sensational 3-year-old Philly, Santa Barbara, passes away, gone way too soon. I agree. It's awful. And like Jason Hummel says, terrible news. So a somber note in horse racing today. Santa Barbara, of course, Aiden O'Brien's really, really good filly. It was going to come over here and probably win our Breeders' Cup Filly Mare race. So hate to see it. Feel like I have to mention it because it literally happened right as the Rocket Hour ended. So wanted to mention that. Condolences to everybody involved. It's just terrible. But we'll move on.
I'm a huge horse racing fan, and unfortunately, that's part of the game. And it happens, and it's awful whenever this kind of stuff. Even if it was a $5,000 claimer, it bothers me whenever I see one break down at the track, which doesn't happen that often. But it's a tragedy, and that's just part of the sport.
Yeah, that's well said. It happens. It's something we all kind of have to deal with within racing, and it's never any fun. And like you said, whether it's a claimer or whether it's a superstar horse, it's still the same. It's not any fun when that happens. So, like I said, condolences to everybody involved with her. Never want to see it. But let's move on. Let's get to the games. Let's get to some happy times. We've got 6 college, 6 NFL. Like I said, we're going to start with college football. And what do you know? We're going to start with our OU Sooners again, just because they pop up first on my ESPN page because I have them liked as a fan. So we'll start with Oklahoma. Of course, they're 0-2 against the spread and haven't even been close to covering. This week, West Virginia comes to town as they start Big 12 play. West Virginia is a 17-point underdog. Will the Sooners finally cover this week?
I've talked about this a little bit, and we've watched OU for so many years. We both think they're sitting on a big one, like they're going to bust out of it. We both think that down deep. I can't trust the quarterback. I just can't. And I just think there's problems there, and they're going to have to prove it to me. West Virginia's got an extremely good running back, but OU usually shuts down running backs, even when their defense isn't real good. It's the quarterback run that usually bothers them. I'm gonna take West Virginia in the points, but I wouldn't bet a nickel on it. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is one that I don't trust either team really. West Virginia comes off a really nice win last week against Virginia Tech, 27-21. But they also lost to a Maryland team to open the year, who I think's average, maybe a little above, a little below, depending on the week. I'm going to take West Virginia plus 17. I think that's too many points to give Oklahoma right now. Just the way they're playing, the way they're moving the ball, it just seems likely this game will be a little closer than 17. And to Michael's question, no, OU is not covered and they haven't been close. They were 31-point favorites against Tulane, and they won by 5. And then last week they were 22-point favorites and won by 7. So not only have they not covered, they haven't even been close. We were kind of talking off air, though. This is where they cover, right? Because it's like logically West Virginia should play them closer than this. And this will probably be the game they break out. Here's the other thing. They have put up huge points against West Virginia the last 3 times they played them. For you, does it really come down to, hey, if Spencer Rattler plays well, they'll probably cover the spread?
Oh, I think that's definitely right. I was listening to Lincoln Riley, and I was at the game. Of course, you were too at the Nebraska game. OU had 9 offensive possessions in that game with Nebraska, and 2 of them were just throwaway offensive. One of them was right there at the last, and they just ran the clock out. That was one of their possessions, and I forget when the other one was. Maybe it was at the end of the half. Maybe it was the other one. But anyway, 2 of them were throwaway possessions where they just had the ball and ran the clock down. That's only 7 offensive possessions. And that could be one of the reasons they're not scoring as much. You only got the ball 7 times. So that could be one of the reasons they're not scoring as much. He did bring that up, and that's a very good point. So other teams are controlling the clock a little bit, plus Oklahoma's running the clock out too. Another sign of their offense is struggling. They don't have big plays this year, and that is the problem. I think I heard where Rattler's longest throw is 23 yards. I believe that's a statistic.
Yep.
Oklahoma usually had 3 or 4 of those in the first half. So they're struggling getting the ball down deep, and that's why they're not scoring. Totally different team at this point. So I just think the line's a little too high.
Yeah, no big play capabilities, and one of those big plays came on a trick play where they pitch it to the back. He threw it back to Rattler, and then they threw it down the field. So, yeah, just their natural offense, they're not hitting the deep ball. He missed a couple wide open deep balls last week, so he has to be better. If he plays better, they will cover this.
Yes,
because I'm with you. I think they hold West Virginia down in the 20s somewhere. It'll just be how much Oklahoma scores. I'm looking at like a 31-20 type of game, which would mean West Virginia covers. So hence why I've picked West Virginia plus the 17. Let's get to a game now, Papa Dude, that seems like it should be a lot more competitive. I know you are shocked by this line. Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. This game's in Chicago, so neutral field there at Soldier Field. Probably more Notre Dame fans than Wisconsin fans, though, a little bit closer to the campus. But Wisconsin, a 6.5-point favorite over the Irish. Break down this one for us.
Well, maybe some of our viewers can help me out on this, because when this line came out, and whenever I'm doing best bets, whatever, I just look for something when the lines first come out that jumps out at me. This one jumped off the internet at me and hit me right in the face. I know Notre Dame has not been very impressive, but it's freaking Notre Dame. And what has Wisconsin done? Nothing. They scored 10 points against Penn State. Now, I know Penn State's good, and they've proven that. And that's not a bad loss. And then they came back against Eastern Michigan, and they put up 34. I don't see that that's real. I don't see that they're 6.5-point favorites over Notre Dame. I could see maybe 1, maybe 2, but 6.5, no, I don't see it. There are some interesting statistics here that I'm becoming a statistic geek when I never was before, but Wisconsin always runs the ball well, and they've got a really good running back, and he's got good statistics after the 2 games, and Notre Dame's weak against the run, so that's the key matchup in the game right there. Can Notre Dame limit the Wisconsin running game? Notre Dame's quarterback, this isn't interesting. He's a transfer from Wisconsin. So that's an interesting thing to look at in this too. When Notre Dame's an underdog, I like that. I like it a lot. I think they're going to use that as motivation. I'm hitting Notre Dame all day long in this one.
Yeah, I know you're really confident about Notre Dame here. I'm not quite as confident, but I am going to take the Irish plus the 6.5. Here's the thing, and I'll ask you, and then I'll give you kind of my opinion, or maybe you're going to hit exactly what I'm going to say here. You watched all of Auburn, Penn State, correct? You were able to watch all that
Most
game?
of it, yes.
Okay. Okay, Penn State was good. No question about it, right?
Yes,
But
definitely.
did you think their defense was just completely dominant in that game?
Oh no, Auburn drove that ball all over the field on them. Yeah, they did extremely well. Yes, I
So
didn't think they were that good. No,
that's okay. Do you think Auburn has an elite offense, really?
no, I think they're better than probably some people think. But no, their quarterback is questionable anytime he takes the field.
So Wisconsin scored 10 points at
Right.
home. Playing on their home field, opening game, everybody's hyped. They scored 10 points on a Penn State defense that's good. I wouldn't call it great.
Right.
I'm with you. I think if Wisconsin wins, it'll be really like a low-scoring, close win, in which case Notre Dame covers. But I kind of think Notre Dame will win this thing outright. But yeah, I think it's going to be something like, Wisconsin, 20-17. Or it's going to be Notre Dame like 24-20.
Right. Well, I'm missing something here, and I'll be the first to admit on Monday if I blow this that I was wrong. I would have thought the line would have been 6.5 Notre Dame before I would Wisconsin. I would have. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe it. I know they weren't. People are blowing too much out of this Florida State game. I watched that game. Florida State just got on a wave of emotion. Notre Dame let up. Their defensive strategy in that last quarter, they were in a prevent. I mean, they blew that game. They should have won that game by 20 points. I'm throwing that out. I don't know how many times I've seen them play awful in South Bend against inferior opponents. Yeah. Toledo. Okay. And I know Toledo came back and got beat last week to a horrible team. You don't think Toledo wasn't flat after almost pulling off that biggest win maybe in their history at South Bend? I'm throwing those two games out. They came back and beat a good Purdue team last week, a pretty good Purdue team, not awful, a decent game or team. I'm all over this one. If Wisconsin wins, I'm going to be very surprised.
Yeah, so some commenters here. Kevin O says under the 46.5 for the Notre Dame Wisconsin game. I think we both agree with that. Dennis says no bet here. Wisconsin doesn't score. Notre Dame hasn't looked that good. He thinks the line should be more like 4 than 6.5. And Jason Hummel taking Notre Dame and also the under. So the under seems to be a play. And Magic says Irish are going to ball out for Gianna Myers. It's a fact. Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, I don't either.
I thought you would know.
no idea. Maybe the commenters Magic. Sometimes Magic will say things and it boom right over my head.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Yeah. Listen, I think this is the most, well, I guess College Game Day is here, so I think this definitely is an intriguing game. Michael's new baby girl, Michael Myers' baby girl. I should have known that. Yeah. Michael Myers is a Notre Dame fan, and just congratulations to Michael Myers. On the birth of. There you go. I know you sent me you sent me one, Michael, and I totally forgot the name. I'm sorry. All right, let's. Now I feel like an asshole. Thanks, Magic. All right, let's go on. You can always count on Magic to make me look like an asshole. Okay, let's move on to another very very interesting game. Texas A&M and Arkansas. This game always played always the last few years at least played at Arlington, Texas, where the Cowboys play their AT&T Stadium. This is interesting. They're both 3-0. Texas A&M, number 7 in the country. They haven't looked very good, but they are 3-0. Arkansas, their best start in years. They're 3-0. They've looked good. They have a marquee win against Texas. A&M a 4.5-point favorite. This game's always close. Where are you leaning in this one?
Well, I wish I had some guts, but I don't. All signs point to the Hogs. No question about it. A&M, okay, let's see who they played. They played Kent State. That's a powerhouse. And they had to really struggle to score 41 points. They scored 21 in the fourth quarter, I think.
Yep.
You went to Colorado. That is a tremendous football team. They scored 10. on Colorado. Minnesota went out and scored 30 last week at Colorado. Now, there's a little bit of an excuse here. A&M's on their second quarterback. Then last week, they played a dominating New Mexico team. And what they scored? 34, I think?
Yeah, 34-0 last week.
Aggies, that's extremely impressive. All right. So you hit the nail on the head. There's only been one opponent that's of any consequences. We don't know how good Texas is, but Arkansas beat the crap out of them. It wasn't even close. They got the better resume, no doubt about it. Oh, I'm going to make my family mad here. Just not fully sold on them yet. I want to be. I really do, and I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win outright. So I'm going to take Arkansas. I almost made it one of my best bets. That's where I said I just don't have enough guts to do it. I think they're going to win, though. So I'm taking the Hogs.
And here's the deal. They're 3-0. Talk about Arkansas. They're 3-0 against the spread, right? The last 2 weeks, it hadn't even been close. The first week, they had to score late to get it covered, but they did. It's hard to win 4 in a row against the spread. And that's where I'm at with Arkansas. But you know what? Arkansas has taken teams down there that are terrible against good A&M teams and almost beat them. Yep. Now they take a team down there that can compete. You look on paper, it's like they can beat them, right? You look at A&M, it's like they don't have any offense. I'm with you. I'm taking Arkansas plus the 4.5. I'm a little worried that their luck just might run out with the spread. Law of averages maybe sets in. I'm taking the Razorbacks plus the 4.5. I don't think they're going to win the game. I do think they can keep it close, and I think it might come down to a field goal one way or the other. I'll take Arkansas plus 4.5. I liked it better when it was 6. I think it opened at
definitely
6. That was better. But I still think, listen, the history of this game, it's always really, really competitive. Right. So, I'm going to take the Razorbacks plus 4.5 here.
Right.
And
Aaron, that line keeps going down, which tells us people are betting on the Hogs. And I didn't like A&M in the beginning of the season. I just don't. I'm different than a lot of people. I'm not a Jimbo Fisher fan. He's okay. I think people think he's a good football coach because his name's Jimbo, and that's ridiculous. So anyway, I'm not saying he's bad. I watched all of Texas A&M against Colorado, and they had no offense whatsoever. Now, their defense is good. The Arkansas quarterback is impressing me more and more as I see some of the video of him. And the other night, he threw the ball pretty good against Georgia Southern. I know they're awful, but anyway, I don't know whether A&M can control him. I really don't.
You got to remember with KJ Jefferson, quarterback of Arkansas, he only played a couple games last year. So he's fairly new coming in, right? I mean, he'd only had a couple games under his belt. It makes sense that he would get better as they go along the season. Now, we're still only in game 4.
Right.
I'm sure there's more improvement for him to make, but he should take steps if he's going to be the guy long-term there. I mean, I think it just logically Arkansas should be able to cover this. Kevin O says, my Gophers held Colorado to 63 total yards. A&M's Colorado win, obviously not impressive. He'll take the Razorback and the points. I'm with you. Yeah, we followed that Minnesota-Colorado game on the phone. I think they played at the same time as we did last week. And it was like, that was never a game. That was just a blowout from the beginning. So, all right, we're both – go ahead.
One more thing I want to point out. Yep. Look where they're ranked. They're ranked 16th. Okay, well, were they like 90th when the season started? I mean, they
probably.
This is what is so stupid to me. The reason they're 16th is they beat Texas. Had they beat Kansas State, Oklahoma State, they would not be 16. That's the weight that Texas pulls, in this thing. It's just, just baffles me.
To your point, Texas still pulls all that weight, and they haven't been good in a decade.
No, that's the point. Yeah.
I mean, good to the level to where they should pull weight to, you beat Texas, so now you're ranked automatically.
That's right. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be 16th. I just think it's odd that they're where they're at.
I'm saying based on what Arkansas has been the last few years, they don't deserve to be 16th just yet.
Yeah.
But maybe ranks. But listen, you win this one, they may be in the top 10. So
that's true.
That
and they deserve it.
exactly. Yeah, there's that aspect of it. Well, that would mean 2 ranked
Two
opponents
ranked,
they've beaten
that's
in
right.
4 games. So
And A&M's what? What are they? 7?
they're
Yeah,
7.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's the biggest game Arkansas has had in many, many years. And that kind of plays into it too. Are they ready?
yeah.
So that'll be definitely be part of it as well. Are they ready for this big stage? Because they're used to going down there and having no chance and being a big underdog. And we know in a rivalry game, that's dangerous when you're facing a team that's a huge underdog
That's right.
with nothing to lose. Where now they've got everything to gain. All right, let's move on, though. We got to go to the ACC now. Clemson, we talked about them where they've really, really struggled offensively. They only beat Georgia Tech 14-8. They go to North Carolina State this week, and they're 10-point favorites. So Clemson, a 10-point favorite on the road at North Carolina State. North Carolina State, they're 2-1. Their loss came to Mississippi State on the road. They didn't play terrible, but that's not a great loss either. I thought this was one of the hardest ones on the docket. Where are you going here?
It's hard. It's hard to pick Clemson in that line when they have scored any points. They've scored 17 points against power schools. 17. One's Georgia, so we kind of throw that out. But Georgia Tech, and you only score 14. In the preseason, when I was writing all these previews, I thought this was a game that Clemson could lose. The only one I saw on their ACC schedule that I thought they would struggle at. You got to think they're going to be ready. You got to think that they're going to be ready for this game. And I think they cover because I think their defense will stop North Carolina State enough to cover. But, okay, let's say, you got to cover 10 points. Well, you got to probably score 21.
At least, yeah.
Can they do that? So, if you got some money you want to throw on something, I think you take North Carolina State in this. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Tigers simply because I know they got great talent. And I think they're going to bust out of it here sooner or later. I think this might be a game they get ready for. So we're going to know a lot about them, though.
I think we learn everything about them here. Yeah. And here's why. Okay, North Carolina State. Okay, let's analyze what they've done defensively. They shut out South Florida to start the season. South Florida hasn't been very good, though.
No.
They went to Mississippi State, like I said, and they gave up 24 points.
Yeah.
That's not horrible on the road against a Mike Leach coached Mississippi State team who's scoring points on everybody so far. That's not too bad. And then 7 last week to Furman. The point of this is their defense should be good enough to slow down Clemson if Clemson is what we think they are and just not very good.
Right.
So
I really like what Dennis says here. He's absolutely right.
Yeah. Dennis says Clemson might win this game by 24 because they're pissed off, or they might win by 3 because they aren't any good. I don't know.
Yep, that's right.
Here's what I'm going with. And I think Oklahoma kind of has, and I'm pointing in my head for people who are listening to the podcast, they got a mental edge over the rest of their conference. I think Clemson's got a mental edge over the rest of their conference. I'm going to go Clemson minus the 10. I realize logically it doesn't make any sense. I think mentally, Clemson has a mental thing over North Carolina State. I don't think North Carolina State believes they can beat Clemson.
That's where I'm going to. That's exactly kind of my thoughts too.
Yeah, and here's another one here. Jason says he agrees with Dennis. Wouldn't shock me if Clemson puts up 50 or 21 and squeaks one out.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it is. I think you said it very well. We're going to learn about Clemson because there's really no excuses. Last week there was a lightning delay and maybe they just came out and they weren't really ready. Hey, you're on the road. It's a big opponent for you in your conference. It's a pretty good team, but a team that shouldn't beat you. Let's see what you are, Clemson. Yep. And I think that's going to make it very interesting. Let's move on to this one. I thought this was an interesting game to put on there. Nebraska goes on the road to East Lansing to take on Michigan State. Michigan State, one of the more impressive early teams this year. They're 3-0 with 2 road wins, both blowout road wins at Northwestern and then Miami last week. Nebraska, terrible in the first game, pretty good the next 2 games against nobody but one. And you could say they played pretty good against Oklahoma, only losing by 7 on the road last week. Do you buy that Nebraska can kind of turn the corner and give Michigan State a run for their money this week?
Well, I'm going to go one step farther, and I'm going to say Nebraska played great last week. I thought they played extremely well. They got some really dumb penalties that hurt them, or they might have won
Mm-hmm.
that game. I was very impressed with their offense. Their defense up front is good. But I have been impressed with Michigan State, too. Here's the deal. The line I took on this is Nebraska played their guts out last week at OU. They got to turn around and make another road trip this week and go to Michigan State. And I don't think I don't if this game was in Lincoln, man, I'd be leaning a little bit more towards the Huskers. But I don't think they can do this 2 weeks in a row. I think there's just a tendency not to play quite as well as you did the week before when you're not real good. They're just not there. Martinez was great against OU. There's times he's terrible.
Yep.
So I think Nebraska took that underdog role and really went with it at Oklahoma. I don't think it's not going to play as much into it at Michigan State. And again, if Michigan State wins this one, then we can start patting them on the back too. So I'm going to go with Michigan State to cover.
Dennis says that he had this one as his 6th of top 5 plays, Michigan State -5. Dennis, I have it in the top 5. A spoiler alert, which that may not be good for anybody betting Michigan State because my top 5 was awful last week. But I do have this one. I'll take Michigan State. A couple things. I do subscribe to your theory of, boy, I don't know if Nebraska can play that well 2 weeks in a row. I also have a theory of Oklahoma makes teams look better than what they are. And it specifically makes quarterbacks look better than what they are.
Yeah.
I think Michigan State dominates this game. I really don't think it'll be close. I don't think Nebraska's there yet. And I think Michigan State is a really good story right now. And they can compete. I'm going to go Michigan State. I think they win this one big. And yeah, to Kevin's point here, this is a puzzling line. Michigan State has blown out everybody, and Nebraska, okay, forget about OU. They played great. They lost to Illinois. Illinois hasn't won a game other than that Nebraska game.
Well,
Kevin's saying he's betting the Spartans big. I'm with you, Kevin.
It's still Nebraska. They still have a name. And I think that's why the line what it is. I really do.
Well, I got to be honest. Sunday, we were texting back and forth. He said, hey, the lines are out. I said, what's Michigan State? And he said 5, and I fell off the couch. I was like,
yeah, you did.
God, I can't even believe that.
You did.
Yeah. Mark says, hopefully Michigan State doesn't let the ranking get to their head. That can happen. There's no question about that. That it's college, and that does happen. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Finally, Magic says, when's Nebraska debuting those new jerseys, the red overall ones? Maybe that's what it's going to take at Nebraska.
They have to do that at home.
Right. Yes. Come on, rookie.
And by the way, Magic, I saw several Nebraska fans with those same overalls on down at Norman Saturday. You talk about
Now listen,
don't even get me started on that. So
we sometimes we make fun of Nebraska fans. They are different people. I want to give them a lot of credit. They haven't been good in 100 years. They were everywhere down there in Norman last weekend, and they were loud. And they thought they were going to win. And
they did.
I'll give Nebraska fans a lot of credit.
Yeah, they were incredible.
Yeah, because I sure as hell wouldn't show up in Lincoln, Nebraska if OU had been as bad as they did. So
no.
All right, let's round out our college football 6 here with a game. I don't know how much this plays locally or nationally, but for us here in this part of the country, I find this to be a very fascinating game. Kansas State's won 3 in a row, 2 pretty good wins, and then a FCS win. But they climb into 25. They're number 25 in the country. Kansas State, they go to Stillwater to take on another undefeated team, Oklahoma State, who's also 3-0. They've won 3 games, and they've looked shitty in all 3, but they've won all 3. So this, to me, is a crazy toss-up type game. Oklahoma State is a 6-point favorite here. Last college game that we're going to talk about. Where are you going?
Toughie. Real toughie here. Both teams identical. Oklahoma State is totally different from what they've been. If any of you follow them, and if you're not in the Big 12, you probably don't. But they're used to throwing the ball all over the field, and great receivers and scoring tons of points. They're not doing that. They're not throwing the ball much at all. They're running it some. Their offensive stats are way down compared to what they've been. K-State is an option-oriented team, throwback type of team. Their coach came from North Dakota State, and that's a powerhouse at the next level down. And they run the ball. They run the option, and this is what this K-State team does. They're not going to overwhelm you with their offensive stats either. So neither one of them have impressive offensive statistics. Both quarterbacks are going to run the ball, and it's going to come down to a slugfest. K-State's played much better schedule. They've got two decent wins. I mean, they thumped Stanford, and Stanford's come back to win the next two. They beat a really good Nevada team convincingly last weekend. A 6-point line is too much for me. Oklahoma State, I think, is going to win simply because it's in Stillwater. I don't think they're going to cover. I'm going K-State in this one.
I think K-State is going to win this thing outright.
Well, they might.
I've watched all of 2 of Oklahoma State's game. The game against Tulsa, they really should have lost that game. Or I shouldn't say should. They could have lost that game very easily. The game last week at Boise, I'll say they should have lost. A bad call for Boise cost them the game. Oklahoma State has been very underwhelming. K-State, I'll be completely honest, at the times they've played have been exactly when we are playing. So I have not seen 1 second of K-State, but I've looked at all the box scores. I've seen the drive charts. They seem to be dominant against Stanford, and they seem to be dominant against Nevada. That's 2 wins that are better than anything Oklahoma State has done, in my opinion. I don't think Boise's real good this year, so I kind of downgrade that Boise State win for Oklahoma State last week. I'm taking the Wildcats, and I'm taking them outright. I really believe K-State's ready to break out and win this game. Mark also agrees with K-State. Backup quarterback still for Kansas State. I think that's still up in the air. Why that doesn't bother me is they're used to playing with the backup. Skylar Thompson, the starting quarter, he's hurt all the time. So
he'll be ready next week, though, against Oklahoma.
Yes, he makes Skylar Thompson look like Tom Brady when we play. So
he does.
There's no doubt he'll be ready for OU. I don't know. They haven't ruled that out one way or the other yet, as far as I know. So
I think that is a little bit of a factor because I think he's a little bit better than the other guy. But I don't think that's a huge factor in this game.
It doesn't change the play calling. It doesn't change the style that they're going to play. They're going to grind it out, run the ball. The quarterback's going to run some, try to play ball control no matter who plays. But, yeah, Skylar probably a little bit better. All right, before we go to the
Dennis has got one up here. Dennis, yeah. Went to it.
Before we go to the NFL, 2 games to highlight, and I agree, Dennis, these are good games. I'll go real quickly to the first one, LSU and Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a 2.5 point favorite at home here against LSU. Dennis likes Mississippi State. Who do you like in this one?
Well, we talked about that just a minute ago. This is a really, really good game to analyze. Mississippi State got screwed royally last week. I still can't believe this isn't getting more recognition than it is. Still pisses me off. I am just so pissed off about that play last week. I am. And anyway, let's get off of it. 2.5. I think LSU squeaks by in this one. Wouldn't surprise me though if Mississippi State wins. LSU hadn't shown anything, that's for sure. Again, it's going to come down to, does Mississippi State think they can beat LSU?
I think the answer is yes. They beat them last year.
Yeah, that's right. They did at LSU. I forgot about that. I just don't know how good Mississippi State is either. That's the thing. So
I'm not touching this one.
0-3.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry, I cut you off there, but I'm not touching this one.
I wouldn't either.
I got to tell you, I don't have any idea what LSU is. That loss to UCLA looks a lot worse now.
Yeah, it does.
And Mississippi State.
I don't know enough about Western Kentucky, Dennis. I don't. You know a lot more about them than I do.
Yeah, Dennis's other game that he wanted to talk about, I'll pull it up real quick here. Western Kentucky and Indiana. Let's me get to that one. Here we go. Indiana goes to Western Kentucky.
Ooh.
Western Kentucky +9 So Indiana, 9-point favorite. I'm with Dennis. I'll take Western Kentucky. I don't think Indiana. I don't think they're very good.
And I think Indiana may be a little flat going into that game.
They probably will be.
That's a good bet.
Yeah, they probably will be. So yeah, that maybe one to look at there. All right, let's move on though to the NFL now. We'll switch gears. We'll go to the game on Thursday night tonight if you're listening to us live. Carolina, a team that is 2-0. They're on a roll to start the season. They looked really good last week against the Saints, but they go to Houston, and the Houston Texans, a team we thought was going to be really bad. Hey, they're 1-1, and they played, competitively on the road last week against Cleveland. Even though the quarterback Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, he's out again this week. Houston, where are we going here?
Well, I'm going to a volleyball game again tonight because I care nothing about. Anyway, okay, we kind of talked about this one too. I think the line's a little too high for Carolina. I think they're going to win. I like Carolina, and I think they're an up and comer for sure. And I think they win the game. I think 8 is just a little bit too much. It just makes me a little uncomfortable on the road. We don't really know what Houston. I get Taylor's out, right? He's definitely out.
Yeah, Tyrod's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing. So that makes that line a little bit better. I'm just going to stay away from it. I think I hope Carolina wins. I think they're a good story. I'm not a Sam Darnold fan there, Mark. I think he has looked good, though. So I think they're going to win. I'm scared of the 8.
I'm with you. I think Carolina will win this game. I think Houston covers. I watched them almost the whole game. Well, pretty much the whole game last week against Cleveland. They went up there and they played hard. They got a turnover. And when Tyrod was in the game, that was nip and tuck the whole time. Davis Mills didn't play horrible. He's not great. I think he's good enough to keep it close. I think it's like a 24-17, 31-24 type game. I'm going to go Houston plus the 8. This is one I don't have any confidence on one way or the other, though. No. So that's just that. I think it's an interesting game. I think it's two teams that are a little better than what we thought they would be. But I think it's going to be close. So I'm going to take Houston plus the 8. Jason says you need to start writing a volleyball article. What do you think?
Well, I tell you, Jason, I was really confused at the game I went to Monday night. By the way, this is probably my last volleyball game of the season, but the scoreboard wasn't working either at this game. And so I'm sitting up here, Sandy, my wife and I, we're sitting up here, we're keeping score, and we're kind of not paying a whole lot of attention. So I didn't even know what the score was half the time in that game Monday night. Hopefully the scoreboard will work tonight. But I'm learning a few rules. And there's still some stuff that happens. I have no idea what's going on, but it's still, you got to get it over the net. That's the one thing. So
are you?
No, I can't write a volleyball article now.
Well, let's give everybody a bet. Cassville travels to Mount Vernon tonight to play volleyball. I think the Cassville Wildcats are significant underdogs in the game. Are you going upset with Cassville? Or are you taking the Mountaineers of Mount Vernon?
Well, it's at home. So I think in volleyball, the home court makes a tremendous amount of, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So just on past history, I think I better go with the Mountaineers, even though my niece plays for the other team. I think the Mountaineers on past history will win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mountaineers big tonight over the Wildcats. So, and by the way, folks, we're not making this up. That is the name of the teams of the towns. So, all right, let's move on to not quite as big a game as Mountain Vernon Cassville, but a pretty big game still. How about this? The game of the week in the NFL, 2-0 Tampa Bay goes to 2-0 Los Angeles Rams, not the Chargers. Tampa Bay, obviously defending champs. They're a 1.5-point favorite here on the road against a revamped and really good-looking Rams team. I can't wait for this one. Where are we going?
This is a really good one. I can't believe it's not on Sunday night. There has to be a reason why it's not. But this is really a great, early season matchup, and the winner of this one is, we'll dub them way too soon, but they'll be the Super Bowl favorites from the NFC.
Yep.
Whoever wins this game will, after a total of 3 games with 14 more to go. Yeah, this is a good one. This can go either way. The line obviously is telling us that. When I was kind of writing the article, I mean, they're pretty similar. Here's what it came down to me, and this is stupid, but I'm a huge Tom Brady fan, so I'm taking the Buccaneers so I don't have to root against Tom.
That kind of tells you his thought process on how strongly he feels about it. It's like, yeah, I'll take the team I want to root for, which
it's a toss-up game. If it wasn't a toss-up game, it'd be different, but I think it's a toss-up game. I really do.
No doubt. I'm going to take the Rams outright here.
You like the Rams. You like the Rams.
I do like the Rams.
Yeah, so there you go.
They left St. Louis, and we live in Missouri, and they left St. Louis, and I'm supposed to hate them, and I don't. I like them. I still like them, even when they went to Los Angeles. I've liked them since I was a kid. I was a Bighorn Sheep fan, and they had that ram, and I was a huge fan. So,
I hated them when they were in LA. So,
yeah, I'm taking them. I have a lot of confidence in McVay.
It's a great game. I like what Mark said here, and I wrote this, and I mentioned this in the article I wrote on the website. This is a huge game for Stafford because you know what's going to happen. He's going to be he's up against Tom Brady. Oh my God, can he lead the Rams to a big win? All that bullshit that they have to go through.
Yeah.
When last time I checked, there are other players on the field besides Tom Brady and Matt Stafford. I get so tired of that. And if they lose, there's some other guys that are going to be involved in the loss too. But that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And if he can win this game, this is huge for Matthew Stafford's confidence, because he's got to have probably a little bit of doubt in his mind coming from Detroit and not having much success in the win-loss column. Beating Tom Brady in an early game like this and beating the defending Super Bowl champions, that's going to be huge for him. And that may leapfrog the Rams up to the top. That really helped them.
Here's my thing. I think you mentioned those other players on the field. I think the Rams pass rush is going to lead them to a win here. That to me, that's how you've got to stop Tom Brady. He's not mobile. If you can get to him, you get him uncomfortable, then he can get a little bit inaccurate. But you have to get to him. I think Aaron Donald and that crew there at Los Angeles will get enough pass rush to win the game. I think it's going to be a good one, though. I can't wait.
It's going to be a great one.
Yeah. Here's a question, and Jason, I'll answer this one real quick before we move on. On a serious note, do you guys have access to in-game betting? And if so, do you utilize it? Yes and yes. Bovada, and I think about any book you use now, whether it's offshore or here in the United States where it's legal, you're going to have in-game betting. You're going to have access to it. I love watching the first drive or two of a game and then jumping in and betting, because you kind of get an idea. Now you could screw yourself. Say you really like Los Angeles here, and they jump out ahead 14-0. Well, all of a sudden you can't bet them because their odds are terrible or the spread's too much. So you can screw yourself at times, but especially in a game, let's say the game tonight, where you're not really strong one way or another, then you can watch a couple possessions and then make a play. So in-game betting definitely something that I think you should take advantage of. And then Aaron Mattingly comes in. Who's this? Never heard of that guy. He comes in and says, no Antonio Brown for the Bucks, and that's obviously a big factor.
Aaron, how you doing, man?
Yeah, he's tuning in from Denver, Colorado, I bet.
Yeah.
Unless he's on the road or something. So
good
to
hear from you.
Yeah, I know. He chimed in for the first time. So that's good. It's good to see he's alive. All right, let's go on to the Chargers and the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, 6.5-point favorites at home against the Chargers. Both teams trying to bounce back from close losses. Where are we leaning here with this one?
Well, the Chiefs let me down last week. They were one of my best bets. I got all the rest of them, and they let me down. Well, living here in Chiefs country, this has been analyzed. The Chiefs have been analyzed, not particularly this game, but the Chiefs have been analyzed all week around here. And it's really, I think you put it best. I can't remember how you phrased it on some game. It was one team's weakness against the other team's weakness or something like that. You were analyzing the game early in the season, and that's kind of what this comes down to. The Chiefs' weakness is run defense and run offense. So I was looking up things to see if San Diego. I'm going to say that through this. I can't get used to them being the Los Angeles Chargers. If they could run the ball, and the answer is no. Their rush game has been terrible in their first 2 games, and the Kansas City rush defense has been terrible. So you got a weak rush offense against a weak rush defense. Who wins that battle? And then that's really the key to the game. And then I was looking same way with the Chiefs. Their rush offense is bad, and the Chargers rush defense is bad. So there's another one. So I think the Chiefs have the capability to run the ball better than the Chargers do. And it came down to me, who is the better team? And there's no question in my mind the Chiefs are better. I just think they're better across the board. I think they're sitting on a big one. I think they're sitting up there hearing about how shitty they are in Kansas City. They may burn me again, and if they do, that's probably it for me picking them. I think they're going to beat the Chargers pretty bad this weekend. So I'm all over this one. I'm going the Chiefs to cover.
I think you're right. I think they bounce back with a big game. I think I'm with you. You just look at it and it's go, okay, the Chargers, they won by 4 in Washington against a Washington team that's okay, Then they lost to the Cowboys, at home in a game where it's like, God, they had so many chances to win. This is by far the best team they've played so far, by far the best offense they've played so far. Chiefs are pissed off. I think the Chiefs win this one pretty easily. I'm going to go Chiefs. I think they cover this one. But I thought they'd cover last week, and they didn't. And I thought they'd cover in week 1, and they didn't. And as Jason says, they're awful against the spread, and they have been. All of last year, they sucked against the spread, and they suck so far this year against the spread. So I'll just pick them one more time and be stupid, I guess. But it just everything points to them winning this game easily.
Yeah, my logic exactly. I thought they were a cinch last week. I didn't lock them, but I thought they were a cinch. And I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win easy this week.
Yeah, Magic says, don't worry about it, Papa Dude. Everybody in LA still calls them San Diego as well. You can tell. Nobody at the games. Mahomes coming off a loss, they will be fired up. I totally agree with that. I don't think this is true. I don't think the Chiefs were quite as bad as 2-14 against the spread last year, Dennis, but they were bad. They were really bad. I don't know the correct number there off the top of my head, but it was bad. Anyway, I think they get it done here. All right, let's move on to another big game. The New Orleans Saints coming off a bad loss. They take on the New England Patriots. They'll go to New England for this game, coming off a big win for New England. New England, a 3-point favorite here. Do the Saints bounce back, or does Belichick go to 2-1?
Well, first of all, who are the Saints? We don't know.
Yep.
They do have a legitimate excuse. 8 coaches were out last week. So instead of having 50 coaches over on the sideline, they had 42. I guess those were the 8 that they really needed the most because they were god-awful in that game. So we really don't know who they are. And correct me if I'm wrong, have they ever gotten back to New Orleans? Are they still training somewhere else? Because I seem to me like I heard where they were coming back next week or something. Maybe they're back practicing in New Orleans.
I think they got back this week, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well, that would be a distraction too if they're still out on the, they were away from home. Yeah. But I think they're back to practicing. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference. The Patriots are going to beat them. I think this is a game Bill Belichick's going to, he's going to win these games at home. I love the line.
Yeah.
If it was a little bit higher, I wouldn't hesitate. I mean, I'd hesitate a little bit. But I think New England covers and defeats the Saints.
I agree. And 2 guys at the same time mentioned this. Mark said Winston went back to the old Winston, Jekyll, and Hyde. And Jason Hummel says, which Jameis is going to show up? Head scratcher game of the week. Dennis is seeing the Saints at plus money at 2.5, which that's not a great sign either. I agree with that. Mark says, hey, Mac Jones, he looks like he's never missed a beat from Cool Hand Luke there at Alabama, calm and accurate. I'm going to take Mac Jones over Winston. I think consistency so far for Mac has been good. I think they've got him in the right scheme, and I also think the New England defense has been really, really good the first 2 weeks of the season. I think they can force some turnovers. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets close to hitting that 3, but I think in the end, New England gets the job done and covers here. So I'm going to go with the Patriots as well. You were really high on the Patriots kind of going into the year, and I think they've done nothing to disappoint what your thoughts were. They've been very, very good. So I'll give them a lot of credit to start the season. All right, we've got another one here as I scroll down, and I will put this one up on the board now. Green Bay, who bounces back, beats the Lions after being embarrassed week 1. Now they got a tough assignment. They're going to go to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who are 2-0. The Niners, they've kind of been ugly wins, but they've been wins on the East Coast. Now they're finally at home, or Eastern time zone. I don't think Detroit, Michigan's really on the East Coast, but Eastern time zone anyway. All right, let's go here, though. Niners are a 3.5-point favorite against the Packers. Who you got here?
Well, I just got through writing an article about this one. The Niners have not been impressive at all. Their statistics are not very good, but they won. And that's the bottom line. They got 2 wins. They're coming home for the first time. And we don't know what Green Bay is. They beat Detroit. Whoop-de-doo. Everybody's going to beat Detroit. They still didn't look very good on defense, but Aaron Rodgers was great against the Lions, and he was so bad against the Saints. He's going to play good in this one, or he's going to be ready to play in this one. He's a better quarterback than the 49ers have. Garoppolo's one of those guys you just kind of, give him something a game plan, hope he executes it. You don't ask him to do too much. I think the 49ers are a little bit better. I think they're going to play well at home. I'm not sold on the Packers yet. I think they have some defensive problems. We still don't know if there's a little bit of internal issues there. We don't know for sure. I'm going to go the 49ers to go to 3-0 and cover this.
I'm going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to take Green Bay plus the 3.5. I like the hook there. If it was 2.5, maybe I would go the other way. But I think Green Bay is going to play really well here. I think they're going to keep it close. I like Green Bay's matchup here. I think they're going to score some points and be able to give them a run for their money. And as Mattingly said, secondary has not been good, and the backfield is beat up. And then Mark says, hey, at this pace, the Niners will have open tryouts for running backs by week 6. They got a bunch of running backs out. Kevin also saying the same thing. The running back, a big concern there. I'm going to go Green Bay plus 3.5. I think they're going to be able to cover this game. I think they're going to be able to keep it close. So night game as well. I think Aaron Rodgers will be ready to go. He kind of silenced, at least for a week, the critics. So we'll see what happens there. There was one game I missed that I want to get back to. We had some people earlier in the chat talking about trap lines, talking about Michigan State. Why are they only 5-point favorites? Okay, explain to me this one. Tua is out for Miami. So Jacoby Brissett in at quarterback. They got beat at home 35-0 to Buffalo last week. This week they go to Las Vegas. The Raiders are 2-0. They went on the road and beat Pittsburgh pretty easily, really. Why is Las Vegas only a 4-point favorite in this game?
You got me. I don't have an answer for that one. They should be a 10-point favorite, I would think, without Tua. I think they'd be a 4-point favorite with Tua.
I thought so.
Yeah, I don't get this one at all.
To me, I'm staying away from it because it just seems like a huge red flag. What is going on here?
I don't know.
I'm staying away.
Why didn't I make that one of my locks? That was stupid, wasn't it?
You made them a lock?
No, I should have. Now I'm looking at this line. Now, the reason I didn't touch it was because I didn't know what Tua was going to do. I didn't know whether he's going to play or not.
Yeah. Well, that came
So,
out today that he's out.
okay.
Uh, is it car reality check game? Like he's been great through 2 weeks. We know
Well,
he's not
maybe.
that good.
Is it
Maybe,
Raiders reality check games? What I would say.
maybe. Magic says this basically implies on a neutral field, Las Vegas would be -1, usually 3 points, one way or the other
Yeah.
for the home team. That seems nuts to me. I don't know. This is a weird line.
It
I'm
is.
not making a pick. I'm staying away from it completely. I mean, I guess if you want me to make a pick, I think Las Vegas should cover this, but
Well, I would think.
this would just confuse the hell out of me. I thought
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that up there, even though I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens to that one. That's just a weird one. So
It is.
all right, let's get to the top 5. I've been dreading this, Papa Dude, because I was awful last week. We'll start with
Well, you'll even it up, I'm sure.
Well, you went 4-1 last week. The only game you missed was the Kansas City game, which we were kind of happy you missed it anyway because that was funny. But we got 5 new ones this week. Papa Dude, 4-1. All right, kick us off. Go over your top 5 there.
All right. Well, my lock of the week. God, I hate doing this one too because this is the screwiest team in the world, and that's Dallas. So they're probably going to kick my butt. But 4, they're getting supposed to beat their line is -4 against the Eagles. I think they cover that easy. The talent gap between those two teams is huge. Only Dallas can screw that up. It's Monday night. It's their home opener. They can take charge of this wonderful division they're in. 2-1. My God, that'll probably get them in the playoffs already. They're 1 up on everybody. That jumped out on me when I saw it, and that's what I look at when I'm doing these. So that's my lock of the week, and I would not be surprised if I'm eating my words on Monday, it would be Tuesday actually, because they play Monday night. So I got to wait all the way to Monday night for my lock. Then we've already talked about Notre Dame, and there's some stupid Chiefs in there at 6.5, and they'll probably screw me again. But anyway, and we talked about New England. My other one, the number 5, I scratched my head on this a lot. And I was trying to choose between the Oklahoma State-Kansas State game and this one. UCLA goes to Stanford. They're coming off their first loss of the year. UCLA is. Stanford has gotten things figured out. It sure looks like on offense. They've scored 83 points in the last 2 games put together. And I've not been that high on UCLA. I kind of got on their bandwagon after they throttled LSU, and then they kind of let down a little bit against Fresno State's pretty good. But anyway, I'm liking Stanford to cover this, or to beat that spread. I like the Cardinal in that one. So that's my 5th pick.
All right, Kevin. Okay, I saw you say it earlier, and I waited. I see you say it now. You and me, buddy. You and me. We're riding the Liberty train. Liberty goes to Syracuse Friday night. They're only a 6-point favorite. They should kill Syracuse. Kevin, you and me are going to get this home. All right. Friday night, let's have a few beers and let's get Liberty home. Liberty -6, to be completely honest. You talk about lines that jump off the page and hit you in the face. It knocked me out of the room when I saw that. I thought, no way. Come on. Syracuse isn't any good. Liberty's got to cover that. Liberty -6. Please. Come on. Dallas -4. I'm with you. Only Dallas could screw that up. They got to cover that. Come on. I mean, give me a break. I thought I almost made this one number 2. The Rams Buccaneers game, I'm going over 55.5. I think they're going to score points in this game. So I'm going to go the over in that game. Michigan State -5. I kind of talked about that a little bit. How I think, we just made Nebraska look better than what they are. I think Michigan State pounds them. And then we talked about the Chiefs -6.5. So those are my 5. Oh, by the way, I went 1-4. So maybe you should do the opposite of what I've got up there on the board, and you'll be very, very happy. See, that's what I do. I'll never go 500. I'll either give you terrible picks, you do the opposite, or maybe I could do good ones. But I'm always providing value one way or the other in that situation. But yeah, come on, Liberty, come on, you can do it.
I like that pick.
Well,
I like it.
It makes you feel good.
I'm just gonna. I'll just make you feel just a little bit bad about it. Remember about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, we were down at Remington and Clemson with the Syracuse. I shouldn't have mentioned that, should I? And they went in there on a Friday night, about 35-point favorites and lost. So I just throw that out there.
That would have been, it was the night before we were going to go to OU, Texas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Remington and Clemson went to Syracuse and got their ass handed to them. And Clemson was undefeated and like top 5. I can't remember what year that was. I remember that like it's yesterday though.
Yeah.
I remember sitting up at the Bricktown Brewery watching it, laughing.
It's great.
Mark says he's 35, but he feels 70. I'm old school. Friday should be high school football. Saturday college, Sunday pro. What do you think? I try to say that in an old man voice.
I liked it. Yeah, but it didn't matter to me, Mark.
I'll take football any day of the week.
I was kind of mad there wasn't anything on last week or last night.
Yeah, well, no, there was some. Now listen, there was. I'm glad it wasn't last night because there was a great wrestling show.
Oh my god!
So, did you watch that? Did you watch AEW last night?
Sure, I did. You better believe it. Yeah.
What'd you think of it? Did you love it?
I don't know what channel. I wonder what that AEW thing was there you had up. I've started to ask you that. I didn't have any idea what it was. No, I didn't.
Oh man.
Nor have I ever.
Aaron Mattingly
That's
says,
right.
Give me games 7 days a week. That was the cool thing about COVID. They had to cancel games or not cancel, but push games to like Tuesday afternoons. Yeah. I loved it.
That's right.
Dennis knows AEW, baby. It was awesome last night.
Yeah.
62-year-old. What's that?
Mark, I was wondering about this, Mark.
What's that? The Mac show?
I was wondering when the Mac were going to start playing on Tuesday and Wednesday like they used to.
Yeah, October is when that starts. Yeah, the Mac show. Yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we do get football 7 days a week.
That's right.
AEW great. Sting, 62 years old, looked like he was 30 last night. Unbelievable performance by the old man and all the other good things. AEW was awesome last night.
Okay, well, that's good.
Wrestling is back. I feel like I'm back in I was a kid again, watching all the good wrestling.
That's good.
Back. Anyway. Final thoughts before we log off here.
I don't have anything too thrilling to talk about on the final thoughts today.
Well, it's gonna be a big day for you. You get to go watch volleyball again.
I'm going to watch a little game film here in a little while and see if I can figure out how to help the Wildcats here.
You're retired now.
I know.
What you should do. Have you ever thought about being a volunteer volleyball coach?
No, I thought I might be able to be a volleyball official, but there were rules I didn't understand the other night. Somebody yelled at one of the refs, and I thought, the hell with that. I don't want to do that. And you don't want to be one of these. I don't know what they do in other parts of the country, but around here, the linesman, they put a person from each team to watch the back lines, because the referees can't see it.
Right.
You don't want to be one of those guys either, because if you rule against your team, they give you all kinds of crap. So I've been asked to do that before, and I politely say, no, thank you. So don't ever volunteer for that.
Let's play a little game here. Mark says he'd rather be a school crossing guard than a volleyball assistant. What's the best kind of non-paid or lightly paid retirement job?
I think I have it. Wait a minute, I'm getting paid.
Walmart greeter?
No, they get paid, don't they?
Well, but like lightly paid. That's like not a.
Well, a Walmart greeter would have been fine, except during COVID, whenever you had to make them put a mask on. That wouldn't have been.
That would have been awful. Walmart greeters, they're like, forget this. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Really?
You're going to have to put me somewhere else. I ain't putting up with this crap. But
the first Walmart greeter to ever quit.
Maybe being Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
It's seasonal.
Yeah. That'd be all right.
Could you do like Easter bunnies during Easter?
You get some kid on your lap that crapped his pants. That wouldn't be too good, would it?
Golf course starter Jason says a free golf and you basically do absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Aaron's got a good one down here. I like that one.
Oh, Usher.
Not a Major League Baseball game, though.
Well, you could go out and be an usher at the Springfield Cardinals game.
It's
No?
baseball. You still got to sit there. No, it's too hot.
Mark says,
Maybe one at I'd like to be one of those guys that, at the well, I don't know though where they get to watch the game. I started to say one of those guys that stand out there when you walk through the gates at the OU games.
yeah, that'd be good. That'd be
They
good.
probably get paid.
What about like these guys that they'll go to like museums or landmarks and give like tours and talk about
That would be fun.
yeah.
Work at a welcome station when you come into a state.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you get to Branson? That'd be kind of fun. What's the best way? And then you tell them the wrong way. Well, you go down here and you go north. No, not north. You go south. Well, maybe it's west. No, I don't know. GPS. I guess you don't need that anymore. You don't.
No, you don't.
No.
You might, but no. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. How about selling 50-50 raffle tickets at the volleyball game? That'd be good.
That would be awful.
Silver Dollar City is calling you, Papa Dude. There you go.
Oh,
That's a short drive.
I wouldn't go down there. No. Hey, I went to the zoo yesterday, though. It's pretty good.
You went to the zoo?
Dickerson Park Zoo, Springfield, Missouri. Very underrated.
It's always been a pretty decent.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
We had a great time. It was really good. You feed the giraffes. Awesome.
What if there was a volunteer job at the zoo? Maybe
I would do it.
Yeah.
If they would pay my mileage up there. Yes.
If they
Yeah, I would. I think that was really good. I'm glad you brought that up. That would be fun. Yeah. As long as you're not shoveling elephant crap or something like that,
Well, you might be. I don't.
Then you can stand around and go, the monkeys are down that way. Something comes. Where are the monkeys? They're down there. Where's the elephants? Just smell. Just lift your head up in the air and smell. You can smell the cage where they're at. Just follow your nose.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Make the trip to St. Louis, free zoo, baseball, crappy horse track.
Okay.
There you go.
I've been there, Mark. Great zoo.
It is a good zoo. Yeah,
yep.
We used to Science Center. I like the Science Center when I was a kid. I haven't been in many years, but
yeah. Great place. It's a lot of stuff to do in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, there is. Yeah. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been, I'll be through there, Mark. Probably won't stop, but I will be through.
Hey, I've got to ask Mark one thing. This is stupid, but anyway, then we got to get off here, I'm sure. But Mark, have you ever been out to the airport and watched the airplanes land where they fly right over you? Have you ever been out there?
Isn't it illegal to do that now?
I ran off. Are you going to answer me, Mark, or not?
He's got to type it out. Maybe that's the good volunteer job to run off the people.
Look at there. See that? Love seeing the planes land. Mark, remember when they used to have that big parking lot that you could sit in? There was always people out there drinking beer, and those planes would fly right over you. That was awesome.
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
That's right.
Okay.
Why are we talking about anyway? So
listen, it was pretty cool. I used to live right by a huge airport, Joplin Regional Airport. They had 2 flights a day come in and out, and
that's awesome.
Well, I swear to God, the planes would come right over the house.
Yeah,
and I would watch them. Yeah. And Heather said, "What the hell are you doing?"
You can still go because out at Lambert Airport in wherever the hell we're talking, St. Louis.
Yeah.
The runway goes right over it's right as a major road goes across there. And there's still a little place where I thought I could go up there and hide and not get caught. Hell no. Here comes the cops. What the hell am I doing? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm sitting there watching airplanes. And I should have just got out of the car and said, what the hell? Don't you have something better to do? Like go over to East St. Louis and catch somebody actually doing something illegal? My wife and I are sitting here freaking enjoying these airplanes. And by the way, there was like 15 came over in about an hour. It was awesome.
Yeah.
See, Mark, look at there. See? Mark did it.
His older brother would get drunk and Mark would have to drive home.
Yeah, I never did that. But anyway, it was good.
All right. Well, we've learned a lot. As Howard Stern would say, you've said it all, Papa Dude. You've said it all. We've heard it all. We've learned a lot. We've learned you're angry at the cops. You're a cop hater. We've learned that today.
No, I just didn't think I was the criminal. Look,
You
you
top
know?
down East St. Louis like everybody does. So
Well,
anyway,
I know why they don't go over there. I wouldn't either.
well, yeah, that's very dangerous to go over there even for
Yeah.
the cops. Probably more so for
Ooh.
the cops. But
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna sign off here. Good talk here about the planes.
was.
Go get ran off by the.
And don't ever go to East St. Louis in a convertible. That'd be dangerous too.
Listen, you're hating on cops. He's a corrections officer. Look at
That's
you.
not a cop. He's not a cop. He's a correction officer. And that means he's in a prison or something.
I don't know.
They're behind bars.
I don't know.
I respect you, Mark. I really do.
All right, we're gonna
Hey,
sign off.
maybe I
here.
could do that as a part-time job, as a retirement job.
I don't think that would be any good at all. Why would
I
you want
think
to do
so. You
that?
stand there like this with your arms folded and tell the prisoners, hey, you think you can get through those bars, boys?
I think your idea of that is not the reality of how that goes.
Probably
So-
not.
All right, we're gonna get
All
out
right,
here now.
we're
This
outta
was
here.
a lot of fun finishing this up. And so yeah, anyway, we're done here. We'll be right back here. I know. I can't-
Marked up Marnie 5. Hey, we need to do a comedy show. All of us just get in here and just do the stupidest shit we can think of.
Yeah,
And I bet you we'd have more viewers.
probably.
Yeah.
That's our way to the top. Tell you what, let's have a meeting, all of us, about this next week. Or how about
Yeah,
we
there
all
you
get
go.
back right here on Monday and we keep doing all stupid shit and keep faking like this is a sports show. We could do that. No. Guys, it's all seriousness. Have fun betting and gambling and watching all the football and the horse racing this weekend. It's another good weekend for us. Best time of the year right now, football and racing. And we'll be right back here on Magic says, Papa Dude, that's called a Saturday live stream. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll go live at the half.
Well,
of the
nobody
OU
ever
West
invites
Virginia
me to
game.
these live streams, Magic.
Well, we haven't had one in a long time.
Oh,
but,
okay.
maybe we'll go live at the half of OU West Virginia.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
What are we going to do it from our seats?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd
good.
be fun. Internet probably won't work, but usually doesn't. All right, we're going to get off here, guys. We'll be right back here for you on Monday, recapping these games. We'll talk about that Monday Night Football game a little bit more on Monday. So good luck, everybody, playing. If you like our content, we'll be back here in a couple hours, about 3 hours away from the Magic Mike Show and then Blinkers Off. So a lot going on today, a lot going on this weekend. Thank you all for tuning in. And the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show will be right back with you on Monday. See you guys.